Hello students, I'm Dr. Anita Pandey from Sri Shankaracharya Mahavidyalaya Junwani Bhilai, and today I'm going to tell you all about business management. So let's first understand this concept business management. According to Harold Kuhns, management is an art of getting things done through and with the people in formally organized groups. It is an art of creating an environment in which people can perform and individuals can cooperate towards attainment of group goals. So, first let's decipher this definition. So, according to Mr. Harold Kuhns, management is all about getting things done by the people, be it directing them or planning the resources and other steps that which are the functions of management, which we will learn about in the later slides. So, management in a nutshell is the entire process, the various steps and measures taken by the management or managerial people to get the people under them, the staff, to do work in a proper and goal oriented manner. So, as per F.W. Taylor, management is an art of knowing what to do, when to do, and see what that it is done in the best and cheapest way. So, the first step of doing anything is that you should know exactly what you have to do. You cannot go and you shoot arrows in the dark. So first you need to know what is your goal and you need to determine how you will reach that goal. Then comes what to do, when to do, as in the time is also very important. Then and see that it is done in the best and cheapest way. Of course, resource optimum utilization of resource is very important anywhere. So management can be described as a social process involving responsibility for economical and effective planning and regulation of operation of an enterprise in fulfillment of given purposes. So why is the management called a social process? It is called a social process because it involves a lot of people. Everyone has to contribute. Every member of staff, be it a junior or senior, they have to contribute in some way for reaching that ultimate goal that the vision and mission of the organization that the organization wants to achieve. So the management is a social process and it obviously involves responsibility for economic and effective planning. Your planning itself should be very economical, that is cost effective, and effective in the sense that the processes should not involve a lot of wastage of either time or money, or manpower is sitting idle, etc. So your planning should be very crisp and sharp, and regulation of operations of an enterprise in the fulfillment of a given purpose. So of course then you will need to regulate or control the operations of an enterprise. Controlling also involves looking at any deviations, and finding their cause and correcting them. So regulation of operation of an enterprise, of course these all steps will lead to fulfillment of the given purposes of the organization. Management is a dynamic process consisting of various elements and activities, which means that management is not a stagnant process. You know that business environment is ever changing. Situations build once more complicated than the previous ones, right? So the management needs to be ever ready. They need to they need to be creative, they need to be proactive, they need to be ready to deal with any kind of situation. So of course management is a dynamic process and it involves various elements. There are many features, many facets and activities. Now let's look at the functions of management. So the functions of management initially start with planning, then comes organizing, then comes staffing, directing and controlling. Now why is this diagram circular in nature? It is circular because this entire functions of management is a never ending process. Once you plan, you begin organizing. Once you begin organizing, you need people to fill those roles, those responsive to fulfill those responsibilities through which you will be reaching your destination, your goal. Then comes directing. Of course there need to be a directorship. Then there is a requirement of giving a proper direction to your staff. Then comes controlling. Of course then there is looking at any deviations, finding their cause, taking corrective action, and controlling and looking after the functions of the activities of your staff, of your even looking after this, your if your system is computerized, your processes are computerized, then you need to look into that also, that there is no glitch. Then again comes planning, right? Because these all are interconnected, totally interconnected. At every step there may be, at every step, at small units, planning is required. Then again this entire process is repeated, so this all is interconnected. And now let's understand in brief about what these functions entail. So, at the most fundamental level, management is a discipline that consists of a set of 5 general functions as given by Kuhns and O'Donnell: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, leading, and controlling. So, these 5 functions are as follows. So, first is planning. It is the most basic function of a management. It deals with chalking out a future course of action and deciding in advance the most appropriate course of action for achievement of predetermined goals. According to Kuhns, planning is deciding in advance what to do, when to do, and how to do. It bridges the gap from where we are and where we want to be. So, of course, suppose your planning is required at every stage of life and not just with management. Suppose you want to be an IAS officer. Your ultimate goal is that. So, what will you do? From today on, you'll start planning. You'll first look at the eligibility criteria of appearing for UPSC prelims, right? So, you'll look that, okay, you need to be either a you need to either be either a graduate with 50% passing marks, or you need to be a member of some government recognized professional body like ICSI, ICAI, etc. then and then you will start looking at coachings, or if you are doing if you have decided to go with self study, then you will look at various resources, various books, and find out which of them is the best. Then you will chalk out your plan, your daily schedule, timetable, etc. So this is a very small example, and just imagine the level of planning that is done to run businesses, huge businesses like Reliance, Tata, IBM, Microsoft, etc. So planning is the very first stepping stone, the basic function of management, and it is chalking out a future course of action, deciding a future course of action, because once you set a goal like becoming an IS officer, then only you will move in that direction, plan and decide your steps as to how to achieve that goal, right? So as Kuhn said, and planning is a bridge between where we are and where we want to be. Today I'm today the turnover of my company is say rupees 200 crores. 1 year down the line, I want that turnover to increase to rupees 300 crores. So what will bridge the gap between this turnover of rupees 200 crore of present and rupees 300 crore of future after 1 year? That is planning. I'll probably I'll plan and probably introduce a new product. I'll increase the this selling price of my existing product where I can increase them, right? So these are all the steps that will be taken. Now it is an exercise in problem solving and decision making. Any goal involves a certain set of problems. Like I said, if I want to increase the turnover of my company from rupees 200 crore to rupees 300 crore, then there will be some set of problems in both course of action. I decided on 2 course of action. Either I will introduce a new product or I will increase the current selling price. So both these course of actions have their own set of problem. In introducing new product, I will need to invest in research and development. I will need to introduce such a product that charging a high price will be justifiable there. Whereas in increasing the price of, if I decide to go with increasing the price of the existing product, then I will need to justify that increase in the price of existing product and ensure that due to increasing my price, my competitors don't get an edge over me, right? Because of course predominantly people prefer those products which are cheaper. So I will need to increase the utility of my existing product. I will need to make that attractive, that yes, to the customers, that yes, you need to prefer my product over the competitor's product because I'm providing you these many utilities. These are my unique points. These are my USP. USP is unique selling points, right? So this planning is a systematic thinking about ways and means for accomplishment of predetermined goals. And planning is not just no making castle in the air. Planning is a very systematic process. It involves systematic thinking and etching out each of your step. Now let's look at organizing. So after planning, of course, there comes organizing, where you lay out all your resources in an orderly manner. So organizing is the process of bringing together physical, financial, and human resources and developing productive relationship among them for achievement of organizational goals. According to Henry Fayol, to organize a business is to provide it with everything useful for its functioning, that is, raw material, tools, capital, and personals. So, what is organizing? So, organizing is bringing together all physical resources like you need, suppose you need to some machinery, some specialized machinery for producing a particular product. Then financial resources, because if say if that machine for purchasing that machinery require a lot of money, then you will need to bring together financial resources. And then comes human resources, because without someone will need to operate that machine, or even if that machinery is totally no it doesn't need human intervention, then someone will at least need to monitor that machine, that okay, its parameters are running properly. So organizing is all about bringing those resources, those different kind of resources together in a cohesive manner, and then developing productive relationship among them, which ultimately leads to achievement of organizational goals. And Henry Fayol also said that it is to provide business with everything useful for its functioning, raw material, tools, capital, and personnel. To organize the business involves determining and providing human and non-human resources to the organizational structure. Organizing a process involves identification of activities. Of course, you will need to identify activities that you need to undertake, right? Then classification of grouping of activities. Now you need to classify those activities, like in, suppose there are different activities like tying, dyeing, no, so tying, dyeing, cutting. So there will be a classification of those different kind of activities in these three uh, heads. Then assignment of duties. You will need to assign duties to your staff, delegation of authority and creation of responsibility. Of course, once the duties are assigned, the management people at the top, no, or those people who fulfill the management positions are they need to delegate their authority, because they cannot fulfill both the everyday day-to-day function as well as they can carry out the supervisory work or managerial work of these planning, staffing, directing, and controlling. So then they have to delegate their authority. And of course, when you have the authority, then you also have responsibility. Then coordinating authority and responsibility relationship. So this is a very vital step, because without authority, responsibility is of no use, and without responsibility, authority is of no use, right? In either case, when the one is more deficient than the other, there is some kind of no inefficient work or abuse of power, right? If you have a lot of responsibility but you don't have the authority to carry out those functions, what is the use of those responsibilities? What will you achieve by having those responsibilities? In the similar manner, if you have a lot of authority but you don't have any responsibility, nobody holds you accountable, then you will or any person will gradually start abusing that authority, right? And besides, what exactly will they do with that much authority? So it will lead to idle manpower. Now next function is staffing. So it is the function of manning the organization structure and keeping it manned. Staffing has assumed greater importance in the recent years due to advancement of technology, increase in size of businesses, complexity of human behavior, etc. The main purpose of staffing is to put right man on the right job. That is, square pegs in square holes and round pegs in round holes. Staffing. Okay, so let's first understand this. So staffing is all about putting the right man to the right job. If you put an accountant to the job of an engineer or to the job of designing, what will he do? What will he be able to achieve? Right? Or if you no appoint an IT personnel in the place of a say sales representative, will he be able to carry out his function properly? Will he be able to contribute in the achievement of goal of an organization? No. The answer is a big no. Right? So staffing is all about managing the ability, educational qualification, no expertise of a person with the job he is most suitable to. Right? Now, as it is written here, staffing is all about putting square pegs in square holes and round pegs in round holes. You cannot go and put round pegs in square holes. If the round peg is no greater in size than that square hole, then it won't go in. And if it is smaller, then space will be left. So that is what it is all about staffing. Now it involves manpower planning, estimating manpower in terms of searching, choosing the person and giving the right place. So manpower planning is a very important step. Why? Because whenever a new function is started or whenever a new opening is there, job opening in an organization, then it is required that someone plans what exactly are the qualifications or how many people of that qualification will be required to fulfill a particular function. If the requirement is that for efficient working, the requirement is that of 4, but you are appointing 5 people for the same job, then what is the use? You are wasting your both manpower resources as well as financial resources. But if that job requires 10 people to work at their top condition, but you have appointed only 8, then it will lead to inefficient working and overstressed staff, right? So estimating manpower in terms of searching, then choosing the person and giving the right place, choosing the person according to their behavioral aspects also matter a lot. That is why interviews are taken, especially in top positions or as you go up the top of the corporate ladder. Behavioral aspects also matter a lot other than financial aspects. If you are too brilliant, you are a genius, but you are not able to manage people, you are not able to command them or command their respect, you have more or less bookish knowledge and you can't apply it to a practical real life situation in a whatever in a creative or flexible manner. You're not flexible, you're too rigid, then what is the use? You will be rejected. People are trained, HR are trained, or people up at the top position who take interviews, they recognize these behavioral patterns, they study. That is why soft skills are considered very important, because they study your body language. That is why GDs are taken to judge what is your thought process. You may be a very academically you may be a very big genius, but you need to have these aspects also, these skills also. So that is all about manpower planning. Then comes recruitment, selection and placement. So of course this you know about. The person will be recruited, then the selection will take place. The person who is the most suitable for a job position or suitable to the culture of an organization is selected, and then the placement happens. Then comes training and development. Of course, whenever you start a new job, majority of organization nowadays require their newly recruited candidates to undergo mandatory training and development. Then comes remuneration. You will get paid for your job. Then performance appraisal. Of course, this performance appraisal happens regularly, on the basis of which you get increments, and then promotions also. Then of course there is promotion and transfer. Now the next function is directing. So it is that part of managerial function which actuates the organizational method to work efficiently for achievement of organizational purposes. It is considered life spark of the enterprise which sets it in motion, the action of people, because planning, organizing and staffing are mere preparations for doing work, which is very true. Planning, organizing, staffing lay the foundation for starting the work. Right? They bring together resources, they set a goal, bring together resources and appoint people, bring together people who will be doing the job. But ultimately you need to get them direction, right? So, direction has the following elements. So, first is supervision. It implies overseeing the work of subordinates by their superior. It is the act of watching and directing work and workers. So, supervisory job is all about seeing how the work is done, and observing how the work is done, and observing the efficiency and the manner in which the worker is doing that work. It sets accountability of workers. It sets accountability of your staff, because they know they are answerable. If they botch up a job deliberately, of course mistakes happen, but if they botch up a job deliberately, then they should have that fear that yes, someone is sitting at the top and they are supervising our work, they'll be doing our performance appraisal, and we are answerable to them. We can't just do any job helter skelter and just be done with it, right? Then comes motivation. It means inspiring, stimulating, or encouraging the subordinates with zeal to work. Positive, negative, monetary, non monetary incentives may be used for this purpose. So, motivation. Now, imagine an organization where your manager, or working under a person, I should say, where your manager or supervisor is very strict, right? If you, of course, you are not, if as a fresher you are not that experienced to handle all kinds of problem all on your own, you will need to go to your manager or supervisor for something. You'll need to share with them your problems and they'll suggest some suggestions. But for example, if you went to that person and that person is very rigid, very narrow minded, and he just scolds you and sends you away, that just look at, you are a professional and you should be able to solve this much of problem by yourself, will you be able to feel any kind of motivation, any desire to work, any zeal to work? The answer is no. So this kind of motivation, be it positive, say nowadays organizations reward their best performers, be it negative, when you have done your job very carelessly, or that is your general attitude, carelessness, then people are even demoted. So that is negative motivation. Monetary motivation is bonus. Depending on your performance appraisal, it decides the amount of bonus that you get at the year end. Then non-monetary incentives, like no, your employer has provided you with car, they have given you servant, they are no feeling that they are bearing the bill of your mobile phone, your internet expenses, etc. So what is that? That is your non-monetary incentives. So motivation is all about inspiring and stimulating or encouraging your subordinates, making them desire to do work. And the work that you do because you are interested in that work will be far better than when you are working with, no, you are not at all interested in your work, but you are being forced to do that. So that is all about motivation. Now let us look at leadership. So leadership may be defined as a process by which managers guide and influence the work of subordinates in desired direction. So leaders, why do we take the name of people, leaders I should say, like Ratan Tata, Barack Obama, and Mr. Narendra Modi with so much reverence? Then there are many people, Azim Premji, Dhirubhai Ambani, no. So these all are people who have established, who have made people believe, made their staff believe in their leadership, made them appreciate them. So leadership may be defined as a process by which managers guide and influence. They influence the work of their subordinates. They make them, and leadership again is also involves an aspect of motivation. Then there is communication. It is the process of passing information, experience, opinion, etc. from one person to another. It is a bridge of understanding. So communication, of course, in an organization, there is it is required that communication channels are very clear, right? If you don't get information on time, suppose you need to, suppose there has an order was placed with your company of 100 of your products, and if that information is not passed by the sales department to the production department, then will production happen? The answer is no. So that is all about that. The communication channels in an organization should be very clear and without obstructions. It is the passing of information, experience, opinion, etc. from one person to another happens in an organization, and it is what develops understanding between various people. Now comes controlling. So controlling implies measurement of accomplishment against the standards and correction of deviation if any to ensure achievement of organizational goals. The purpose of controlling is to ensure that everything occurs in conformities with the standard. So of course there are a set of standards, there are a set of benchmark according to the goals, right? And process happens for achievement of that goals, process or undertaking. Now at the end of the day, you need to look at your output, you need to look at your input, you have to observe what exactly was the goal that you set and understand where you went wrong, if there are any deviations, or if you have or if you were unable to achieve your target, be it qualitative target, be it quantitative target, right? So you need to understand why does that quality checking happens in an organization, quality assurance is taken, or when suppose a product was returned by the customer and it because it was defective, then it goes straight to the quality checking department, because then they will see exactly what went wrong. Was it the fault of machine, was it the fault of the person that was manning that machine, right? So that the same mistake doesn't happen twice. So an efficient system of control helps to predict deviations before they actually occur. The organizations today are very much focusing on their internal controls, be it internal control on financial reporting or internal controls on general processes. And the supervisory and management role are therefore becoming very complicated, because nowadays control is all about even predicting deviations before they actually occur, actually understanding that yes, if we go through this course of action, this may happen, this mistake may happen, or this mistake may happen, right? So according to Theo Heyman, controlling is the process of checking whether or not proper progress is being made towards the objectives and goals, and acting if necessary to correct any deviation. So controlling is all about checking. Continuously you have to check whether the process is being carried out properly, whether the proper progress is being made, whether you have achieved your objectives and goals in the manner that you intended to achieve them. And if there are any deviations, you will go and correct them, right? Then therefore controlling has the following steps. First is establishment of standard performance, the very first step and the very obvious step. Then there is measurement of actual performance, comparison of actual performance with standard and finding out deviation if any, and then you take corrective action. Now let us look at features of management. Now management is an activity concerned with guiding human and physical resources such that organizational goals can be achieved. Nature of management can be highlighted as, first is management is goal oriented activity. The success of management activity is assessed by its achievement of the predetermined goals or objectives. Management is a purposeful activity. It is a tool which helps use of human and physical resources to fulfill the predetermined goals. Now, management without purpose is nothing. You cannot manage people without any purpose or any goal. There should be some direction as to why you are managing those people, and how you manage those people will also get affected by it. So management is a tool which helps use of human and physical resources to fulfill the predetermined goals. Now, management integrates human, physical and financial resources. Management brings together these resources. In an organization, human beings work with non-human resources like machines, materials, financial assets, buildings, etc. Management integrates human efforts to those resources. It brings harmony among the human, physical and financial resources. This we discussed already in organization. So it of course management brings harmony among various resources. It brings together those resources and ensures that there is a coordination, there is a state of balance in utilization of those resources. Then management is continuous. Management is an ongoing process. Management never stops. Like I said, initially we discussed that we saw that diagram, that photograph where all management functions were in a circle, and I said that management is a never ending process because, and it is also interconnected, those functions are interconnected because it continuously goes on as long as the organization is in existence. It involves continuous handling of problems and issues. It is concerned with identifying the problems and taking appropriate steps to solve it. If you achieve the sales target of this month, then it doesn't mean that you and your team will sit idly and relax that yes, we have chased the target and completed the target for this month. You will again set the target for next month and start working in towards achievement of that target, right? And this entire process will involve management at every level, because management involves these, every step involves interaction of all kinds of resources, be it human, be it physical, or be it financial. Management is all pervasive. Management is required in all types of organization, whether it is political, social, cultural, or business, because it helps and directs various efforts towards a definite purpose. Even if five people are meeting for, suppose, say, organizing a cultural event, then also one of them will be appointed a leader to whom other four people will report, and those four people will be given a responsibility, separate responsibility. Suppose one is given the responsibility for decoration, then another is giving responsibility for food, then the third person is giving a responsibility of welcoming the guest and managing the guest list, determining who all are invited, and the fourth person will is suppose arranging vehicles and all for all the dignitaries, and undertaking all kind of planning function. So management is required anywhere. The clubs, hospitals, political parties, colleges, hospitals, businesses, firms, all require management. Then management is a group activity. Management is very much less concerned with individuals' effort. It is more concerned with groups. It involves the use of group effort to achieve predetermined goal of an organization. If there is only one person, what is the use of management? What will he do with management? Right? Management is therefore a very group activity. If there are more than one person, then and they are working towards some goal, then management will be required. No. So management is more about a group activity towards for moving towards achievement of predetermined goals of an organization. Now let us look at importance of management. So first is, it helps in achieving group goals. Of course, the entire activity or function of management is goal oriented. It is all about achievement of goals, because without achievement of goals, what is the use of management, right? It arranges the factors of production, assembles and organizes the resources, integrates those resources in effective manner to achieve goals. It directs group efforts towards achievement of predetermined goals. Then there is optimum utilization of resources. Now optimum utilization of resources is preferred anywhere in all walks of life. Nobody wants to waste the resources, right? So management utilizes our physical, financial and human resources productively. This leads to efficacy in management. Efficacy is concerned with both efficiency and effectiveness. Now reduction of costs. So it gets maximum results through minimum input by proper planning and using minimum input and getting maximum output. Therefore planning is required. Therefore staffing, directing, controlling. Every function of management is concerned with optimum utilization of resources, which ultimately reduces cost. Then management uses physical, human and financial resources in such a manner which results in best combination. This helps in cost reduction. So if your planning is proper, you know where exactly what resource is required and in which quantity, and what is the quality, what should be the quality of that resource. Then there are very less chances that wastage will happen, or even if wastage happens, it will be of minimal amount, because you're not shooting arrows in the dark. You're not carrying out any activity without any proper putting a proper thought, or without planning it properly. You're doing it in a very systematic manner, right? So ultimately, once the wastage is reduced, reduction of cost happens. Now fourth is establishes sound organization. Management No overlapping of efforts, smooth and coordinated functions. So management is also involves ensuring that your organization has a very clear line of direction, very clear line of responsibility and authority. And good management also involves that no efforts are overlapped. No two responsibilities are about doing the same job, but two different people. Okay? So to establish sound organization structure is one of the objective of management which is in tune with objective of organization, and for fulfillment of this it establishes effective authority and responsibility relationship. That is, who is accountable to whom, who can give instructions to who are superiors and who are subordinates. So this very clear line of authority is established, who gives instruction to whom, who are superiors. Suppose a person is receiving instruction from two different people, then he'll get confused as to what exactly he should do, in what manner he should do that thing, right? So there should be a very clear responsibility and authority, very clear line of instruction, and there should be no overlapping of efforts. Management fills up various positions with right persons having right skills, training, and qualification. This was, here it comes staffing, right? Then establishing equilibrium. So management enables the organization to survive in changing environment. It keeps in touch with the changing environment. And when you keep in touch with the changing environment, then only you establish equilibrium. And equilibrium means balance. And balance is very important in any walk of life. So you need to, a management is what ensures that the organization keeps in touch with changing environment. Like for example, when these digital camera and all came, Kodak, earlier we used to know at say 20 years back, Kodak was very popular, but now we don't even know, kids nowadays must not even know about what is Kodak, that company. So why is it so? Because when digitalization happened, when the era of digital cameras came, Kodak couldn't adopt. It couldn't keep in touch with the changing environment, the changing requirements of market. And that is why it was pushed on a back foot. Right? Then, essential for prosperity of society. Efficient management leads to better economical production, which helps in turn to increase the welfare of people. The people who are the stakeholders in a business has a lot of stakeholders, be it government, be it its own employees, be it the suppliers, the customers, etc. Now if an organization is prospering, it will give more and more taxes to the government, which will in turn invest that money for development of infrastructure of the country and betterment of its citizen. The prosperity of business will of course increase the salary structure, the incentives that the employees get. So their own personal financial position will become better and better. They will have more purchasing power. They will invest that money again in the markets. They will buy the product or make investments. They will give better education to their children, right? Through CSR activities, that management, that organization will return to the society, will invest in the welfare and betterment of society. Vendors will also get a better deal. Customers will also get a better deal. And in turn, they will all prosper. So an efficient management leads to better economical production. Good management makes a difficult task easier by avoiding wastage of scarce resources. It improves standard of living. Ultimately, this all will improve standards of living. Reduction of wastage will also somewhere ultimately down the line, it will help in prosperity, in development, right? It will prevent wastage of money. So a good management is very essential for prosperity of a society. So I hope you understood this topic. Now that was all for today and in this topic management. Thank you.